Hey, and welcome back to It's Clan Life. I'm AK Hammer with the Armored Knights, and this will be video 3 and the factors that matter. We're going to talk about rules today. Previously, we talked about the types of clan and guild that you're building, game-based, casual, competitive, etc. Then for Foundation, we kind of talked about things that you really kind of need for a clan to be successful and to help you build it, whether it's a website, TeamSpeak, or voiceover program type of thing like that. So today we're going to be talking about rules. Number 3 in the video series, rules. Now, I talked about it before. You kind of have to have rules. I know that when you say rules and you're saying, well, Hammer, I'm putting together a casual, it's just a bunch of friends hanging out together, and I get that. But invariably what happens is you have a drunk tank Friday night and one of your friends starts on some anti-racist or racist rant, or political rant, which always gets people in trouble. Even if you're friends, politics can really kind of put you on a kind of polarize a room. So you kind of have to have rules, even if it's just basic behavior and decorum rules. And so some of the things that we come up with, and some of the things that can help with rules for your group, we have here. So first off, relax rules. Casual gameplay. Hey, we don't have activity levels, we don't have attendance requirements, that kind of thing. So you just kind of have things where, we'd like to get together on Friday nights to do this, or we'd like to get together, so you can be kind of relaxed about it and not have these end all be all mandatory type stuff. You don't have to get so rigid like you're in the military. You can be kind of relaxed about it, but at least it gives some structure to what's going on. And the biggest help for any kind of rules, whether they're relaxed or stringent or whatever, is that when something happens, there's some kind of deviation from the norm. When there's some kind of deviation from what you want to happen or expect to happen, you need to have something in place to be able to determine where that line is, and when they cross the line, what do we do about it? But having rules kind of gives you that structure to be able to guide your members or yourself in your own thought process when you're dealing with things. So relax rules, more like guidelines. Meeting times, game times, whatever. TeamSpeak behaviors, that kind of stuff. Stringent rules. Are you going to be stringent rules? I already kind of made the comment about military style rules. Mandatory here. You will do this. You will be that. There is no, you're really drawing some pretty black and white lines in the sand about what you can and can't do and how often and all that kind of stuff. So how do you want to do it? Do you want to be relaxed? Do you want to be stringent? So some thoughts on both of those. When you're putting a clan or a guild together, you're dealing with people. So you really kind of have to be a little bit of a psychologist to understand how people are. A person can be a good, behaved, nice person. Groups of people tend to devolve into these chaotic, anarchistic group of jackasses, if left unattended. People in general will push the envelope. People in general will take advantage of things here or there if they can, or if you allow them to. So it's okay to have relaxed rules, but just realize that if you do that, you are going to be hurting cats a lot, because you're going to have to pull people back towards the center. Or not. If you don't, that's fine, but what's going to happen is this chaos and anarchy is going to reign, and then nobody's going to want to be part of that. And that's the reality of the rules in general is, if you have a good group of guys, but they get drunk and talk trash and political and racist and whatever other rants that you can go on, you're going to chase away more members, and you're going to end up with the 3 or 4 core guys, but those are all the drunk racist assholes. But you're never going to be able to get anybody else to stay for more than a week or two. So so that's where rules come in. They can help maintain that environment that you want for your guild. So those are your rules, whether they're relaxed or stringent. Age. Do you have an age limit? The content-based games, voice chat. If you're in TeamSpeak and you got guys in there that are just 40-year-old, 30-year-old kids that are just drop F-bombs and you know, some of the subject matter they talk about, and then you have your 12-year-old daughter or your son in TeamSpeak channel with them, that's probably not appropriate. So do you have a rule to cover that, or do you have the behavior, or do you have a rule to cover the age, or do you have a separate channel in TeamSpeak where kids can go, keep it clean, that kind of stuff? And those are all fixes for that possibility. But do you want young kids in your clan or your guild? Or are you a young kid looking at putting together a guild or a clan? In which case, you're not going to say, I don't want young kids, because you're a young kid. So, and that's fine. But for some groups, age may be an issue. Now, let's face it, for AK, you have to be 18 or older, because we want mature gamers. Now, having said that, I do know that maturity is not an age. It is just a way that you conduct yourself, a behavior. But we all know, whether you're playing Halo online or StarCraft or League of Legends or something where you have all these 12-year-olds that are just yelling and screaming, and you know, the drama that follows the teens is pretty big and heavy, and I don't want to deal with that. I've got kids at home. I don't need to deal with that in the clan. So just realize, if you let kids or younger group into your group or clan, you're gonna have to deal with that to a certain degree. If you're a parent, you know what I mean. If you don't have kids, you're not a parent, then you may not understand that, but you will if you let kids in your clan. And I'm not saying don't let them in. I'm just saying that you're going to have to keep an eye on them and make sure that you keep them on the straight and narrow, because kids will be kids. That's what they're supposed to do, but it can create some drama, and then your older members don't want to have to deal with that normally. So that may chase some of your older members away. So you're going to definitely have to keep an eye on that and have some kind of a way to deal with that should a situation arise. But that's an issue. In-game or a VoIP behavior. When it comes to rules, that can be a big thing. Anybody that plays some of these games out here, let's use World of Tanks for an example. You have World of Tank players that will purposely damage their teammates, purposely kill their teammates, just for something simple like, I want to be in that spot and you're there, so I'm going to shoot you and kill you. Or I'm going to get up behind you and push you and force you out in the open so you get killed. That kind of behavior is what chases people away from the game. Here at AK, our rule is you do not do that. There's no team damage, no team killing whatsoever. If I see it, if I hear about it, if somebody complains to me and sends me a video and I see it, we're going to have a problem. That may seem kind of extreme, but the reality is your behavior, whether it's in the game or in TeamSpeak, is a reflection on the group as a whole. So if you have one guy out there being the drunken jackass, that's what people are going to remember. And that's the sad thing. You could be one of the greatest groups in the game, honorable teamwork and good players and all that stuff. You got one guy that's running around drunk jackassery. That's what people remember. So your public image can do a lot of things for you. It can draw more members to you. It can get you into doorways that maybe not were available to you. Our group has been invited on a broadcast for Twitch for Supremacy League for Warships because of our behavior, our maturity, our in-game teamwork, and our success at some of these things. So your public image, people see that, and that can open up doors for you for other things. And then the other big thing is, it can draw people to you. Hey, I see you guys are always helpful. You're always nice in chat, teamwork, and all that kind of stuff. I want to come check you out, because that's the kind of place I want to hang out at. Or the other side of that, do you care? Obviously, there's groups and clans out there that don't. They run around in games team killing and talking constant trash in TeamSpeak or in game chat or whatever. And if that's okay with you, then that's okay. But just realize that if that's going to be something that people are going to see. So your public image can be a big deal. So you're going to have rules to counter that or to deal with that or not. Something to think about. The other end of that, consequences. If you're going to have rules, you got to have some system to deal with the situations that arise that are counter to the rules. What are you going to do with that? Are you going to ban people? Are you going to restrict people? Like for us, Supremacy League or our Clan Wars teams and stuff like that, when we do that, if you get in trouble or do something stupid that you're not supposed to do, basically, then you get pulled from being able to play on those teams for a short time. That's a consequence. Now, consequences sometimes work and sometimes they don't. I mean, let's face it, it's a game. And if people don't want to deal with that, then they'll just go join another clan or a group. And the reality is that may happen. And I'll be honest, it's happened at AK. Uh, but to us, the more important part is our public image. So if I lose one guy that's being a jackass, I don't mind that, because now that guy is not representing us in that game or whatever. And then I get more people because now the guy's gone. So you have to be able to have consequences. If you're going to have rules, then you need to have consequences for breaking those rules. If you don't have consequences, then once people see that nothing happens, then your rules don't matter. So you have to have some kind of consequences for any kind of rule violation. And then the flip side of that is you have to be willing to institute those consequences if there is some kind of a behavior violation. If you're afraid to or don't want to, let's say you have rules and you have consequences. Hey, if you break this rule, this is what happens. And then when that happens, you don't do anything. You might as well not have the rule. And people are going to see that, and they're just going to say, well, he's not going to do anything anyway, so we're just going to keep doing it. So you need to have the consequences, and you need to have the strength to be able to institute those if you need be. And finally, when it comes down to rules, if you have rules, is consistency. You have to be fair, and you need to handle all the rules and the members the same. Sometimes that's the hard part. I don't believe in zero tolerance. I think any zero tolerance policy, I think, is, well, I won't say any, that's kind of an all-inclusive comment, but for the most part, zero tolerance policies do not work, because sometimes people make mistakes. Sometimes people have a bad night. Sometimes, and so taking into this consideration those factors matters. So when it does come time to have discipline somebody for a rule violation, talk to them. Was it a bad night? Were they just pissed off because their wife left them? Whatever, they got fired, so they were taking it out on the guy. Things like that happen. People are human. But you still have to be consistent. So make sure you talk to people, find out what happened. Don't go in guns blazing. Maybe they had a bad day. Maybe they need that friend to be able to talk to and bring them back to center. And that's fine too. We all have those days. So again, finally, rules. You have to have them. You really do have to have them. Even if it's in their most basic form, you need to have them, and you need to be able to consistently implement them, and especially consistently deal with any violations. You have to. It sounds kind of odd because, hey, it's a game. We're playing a game. We're supposed to be having fun, and that's true. But what you are doing is trying to put together a clan or a guild of people that hopefully will last for a long time. So you have to have some structure to that. And if you do not, chaos and anarchy reigns, and you will not, and I will tell you, guarantee you, if you do not have some kind of a rule system and structure set up, you will not be successful, because inevitably what will happen is somebody will come in and they'll start talking trash, being trash, and people will leave. They won't want to be around that. So you're going to have some kind of a rule structure and be able to implement those rules consistently across the board if need be. So rules, think about them. Again, nobody said it has to be military. It can be the Peace Corps rule type stuff. That's fine. But you really do kind of need some kind of structure for people's behavior, whether in TeamSpeak, in-game, or whatever. So think about it. Again, rules help build the structure. We already have the foundation in the name, the website, and the other stuff that you want to add. And then the rules give you that structure for people within that clan to build on. They know what they can and can't do, and they know where to strengthen and where not to. So rules are a big deal. How you do it is up to you, but you definitely want to have some rules in there. So again, thanks for dropping by to It's the Clan Life section on rules. And the next video we'll be talking about is leadership, which is probably one of the most important parts about a clan. So thanks for dropping by, and we'll see you next time.